Hola, my name is Pepa Lago. I'm a professor of Hispanic Studies at the University of Puget Sound, and I love making flans. Today we're going to make a chocolate flan. We are going to need 5 eggs plus 2 yolks, and the eggs need to be separated. We're also going to need evaporated milk and condensed milk. We'll also need half a cup of heavy cream. Of course, we're going to need vanilla, and also, of course, we're going to need cocoa powder, and you want it the darkest possible. We're also going to need caramel. Caramel is one of the elements that is most typical in a flan. And for the caramel, you just need sugar. You can add a little bit of water, but basically we are just going to let this sugar melt. Once it's melted, we are going to pour it over the flan mold. We're going to use this one, of course, then we're going to turn it over at the end. So the next thing that we need to do is to beat the whites of the eggs. And we need only 5 whites. We are going to use 7 eggs, but only 7 yolks, but 5 whites. We have to beat these until they're stiff, and then separately we are going to add the rest of the ingredients. So now that the egg whites are stiff, we're going to start adding the yolks one by one. Okay, so in the meantime, the caramel is done. This is just the sugar that has melted, and we are going to very quickly pour it over the mold to make sure that the whole bottom is covered. So now what I'm doing is pouring the condensed milk, the evaporated milk, the cream, the vanilla, and the cocoa powder into the blender, and I'm going to blend all of these ingredients together. I forgot to mention that we are going to add 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and this is 1/4 of a cup measurement. So I'm going to add 3 of these. So now that we have blended all those ingredients together, and just one thing, the cocoa powder tends to get sticky and clumpy, so make sure you might need to scrape around and make sure that it dissolves completely into the mixture. So once that is dissolved, then you're going to add it to the egg mixture that we had beaten before. Okay, so now we are ready to fill the mold with the mixture. So we have the mixture here, very creamy. We have the mold right here with the caramel, right? And we have a pan with hot water. It doesn't have to be boiling. It could be cold. It's just going to take a little longer to bake if the water is cold. Basically, we're going to bake the flan in a water bath, right? So we are going to pour the mixture in the mold, and then put the mold in the water bath, and then put the whole thing in the oven at 350 Fahrenheit. And you can use any kind of mold that you like. I have many different shapes. They can be copper, they can be aluminum, they can be glass. You can use a bread mold, you know, rectangular. It just needs to be a little deep. Or you can also use a pie round mold, and then, you know, obviously it's going to be different because it's going to be flatter. It's not going to be as deep. So now very carefully we place the mold inside the pan. Make sure that it doesn't overflow. Obviously, some of the water will evaporate, but basically this will ensure that the flan stays moist and it doesn't dry out. And then very, very carefully, you're going to have to place your pan with the mold and the mixture inside the oven. Hi again. So yesterday we baked our flan, and we had it in the oven for exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes. Sometimes they take 1 hour. This in particular, because it's very creamy, it takes a little longer, so please check after the hour. As I said, this one took 1 hour 20. You want to check to make sure that it is ready. You push a knife in it, and if it comes out clean, that means that it's ready. Now we kept it in the fridge overnight, and it's the next day, and we're ready to flip it and unmold it. To do that, you want to press along the edges with a knife just to make sure that it's unstuck, and then the caramel on the bottom will do its job, and everything will come beautifully out of the mold. Sometimes it takes a minute, so make sure that you are patient and let it do its job, and gravity will take care of it. So we're going to try this, and make sure that you use a plate or a platter that will accommodate all of it. And we're just going to let it there sit until it comes out. So now that our flan has been unmolded and it's beautifully sitting on the plate, and you can tell that the caramel is still here, and you can actually drip it a little over the top, we are going to start preparing our whipped cream that will go in the middle. And for that, we're going to use heavy whipping cream, and we are going to have to beat that until it's stiff. And then we are going to add some confectioner's sugar and also some mint extract. You can normally, like the standard is just to use vanilla, but you can actually add different flavors. It's really yummy with almond, for example. In this case, because of the chocolate, I'm going to use mint extract, and make sure that it's pure mint, not imitation. So now that our cream is nice and stiff, we're going to add some sugar, and normally I add 2 to 3 spoonfuls, and it just depends how sweet you want it. You can add 2, beat it in, and then try it and see if that's sweet enough. And if it's not, then you can add a little bit more sugar. And I'm also adding the mint at this point. And I'm also adding 1 teaspoon. That should be enough to give it a nice flavor. So now that we have our whipped cream ready and our flan ready, we can just decorate it. And this is just kind of like personal preference. We can just do something all the way around. We can do something just in the center. We can serve it on the side for each person to serve themselves the way they want it. And definitely we want to decorate it with maybe like some mint sprigs to go with the theme of the mint flavored whipped cream.